welcome back. I have two books this week because I read stuff, kind of. I finished editing my novel, so I'm going to be reading a lot more, and I'm very excited about that. So, first book I have is Chicken Soup for the College Students. College Soul. It just says College Soul. And this book was published back in 1999, so a lot of the stories are a little bit older, and the people in them have grown up and gone off to do things. But it was a good book. Some of the stories were really sad, and I at one point actually yelled at them, and I'm like, "Stop killing people!" Because there are quite a few stories where someone ends up dead, and I'm like, "What is this?" But it's a great book, especially if you want to read at night, but you don't want to read a lot before you go to sleep, because the stories are very short. The longest story, I think, was 7 pages, and that was, like, absurdly long. Most of them don't get above about 5, and the average is about 2 to 3. So, and some of the stories I could really relate to with just having graduated from college and coming back home and remembering my college years my college years. I just graduated in June. I'm not sophisticated enough to use the words college years. But it was a good book. It was a really nice book to read. I would give this to a high school graduate. Just give it to them and be like, hey, here's some stories that might encourage you while you move away and change everything you've ever known. So, Chicken Soup for the College Soul. Good book. I enjoyed it. And the other book I have is Naked Heat by Richard Castle. If you watch Castle, that's the name of the show. If you watch Castle, this is the second in his Nikki Heat series that the writer on Castle writes, and if you look on the back, it actually says that it's written by Richard Castle, and the acknowledgments are from him, and I have absolutely no idea who writes these, but whoever it is, they are brilliant. And so you have Nikki Heat is the detective, like Detective Beckett, and you have Jameson Rook is a journalist who was shadowing her, and you have the murder of a gossip columnist. And there's a lot of secrets, there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of characters. I've heard it compared to being like an extended episode of Castle, and I think that's actually a really good description of it, because it is kind of like an episode of Castle. You get the same kind of humor, you get the same kind of, what? That? And the dun-dun-dun music. And the thing that I love about these books that you don't get in Castle that you so desperately want is that Nikki Heat and Jameson Rook actually get together a couple of times. It's very nice. There's still some tension, but you also get to have a fulfillment of the romantic notions, which is very helpful because I like a little bit of romance in my books, and I just sometimes want to strangle the people on TV and be like, get together already! One of the nice things about these books is when I'm reading them, Jameson Rook and Nikki Heat are like Castle and Beckett, but they aren't them. When I picture Jameson Rook in my head, I do not picture Nathan Fillion as Rick Castle. I picture Jameson Rook, whatever he may look like. He's kind of tall and angular and suave. I like him. Richard Castle, Naked Heat, it was a good book. If you haven't read the Nikki Heat books yet, go back, get Heat Wave, I think is the first one, and read it, and then read this one. And they're great books. They're great fun. They're not going to be serious books. They aren't even going to be serious mysteries. But they are fun, and there's a little bit of suspense in them, there's a little bit of romance. They're wonderful books. I want to own them so badly. So those are the only 2 books I have. The next 2 weeks or so I'm going to be in Bellingham So the book posts may not actually have where I'm holding up the book, and they're going to be on location. So, yay! So that's all I have, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Happy reading.